story is a revelation of how or why I have lived in so much sorrow, but as I've become more open and less resistant, however you may view it, I've come to see that God has healed a lot of the broken pieces I was continuously picking up, mourning, and forever setting back down. I'm happier giving it to Lord, my Creator, because through Christ I know that even in my life on earth, I'm living and learning to live in a way that's healing. Those broken pieces have mended without me even fully realizing it until I looked back again. I am more because of my time at the Perry Center. My life before I came to the Perry Center was always pretty lonely. I was always by myself because all of my family is in Montana. When I was 16, I ended up having to move to North Dakota. I got really homesick. I was anxious all the time. I became very depressed, and then I started smoking weed all the time. As time went by, my usage got worse. I started using Xanax because it was prescribed to me for anxiety, but I abused it from really early on. And over time, I realized that people would give me money if I sold some of my Xanax to them. And so I started selling drugs at a really young age. And one night after I had sold my Xanax to someone, he reached in his pocket and he pulled out paraphernalia for smoking meth. I was addicted from the first time. Shortly after that, I was sexually assaulted by somebody that I thought I could trust. And it ruined my whole entire life. At that point, I was so embarrassed and broken, and the trauma was so bad that I couldn't go to school anymore. I couldn't go to work. I didn't want to leave my house. I felt like it was my fault for the longest time. I didn't understand that bad people are bad because that's just what they decide to do. It's their choice. It's not because you made them do it. But for a long time, I felt like I provoked it somehow. So in order to drown out those feelings of guilt, I started to use super heavily. And shortly after I found my drug of choice, I did heroin for the first time when I was 18. And for the next 7 years, I've overdosed 4 times. I've been hospitalized almost every single time. I did things I never would have thought I would do. I hurt people. I stole from people. I became somebody that I'm not. I tried to get help a couple times, but it never lasted long. And then I had my first son. And when I gave him away, I felt broken to the point of no repair. It was like a pain that I couldn't numb, no matter how high I got, no matter how many times. I used, it was too much, so I would just continue to do it as much as I could. I'd gotten down to 102 pounds, and I'm 5'8". I lost all hope. When I was younger, I remember I used to pray with my dad every night before we would go to bed, and he left us when I was 7. And having him leave, it made it hard for me to want to still continue to talk to God and be with God and to trust in Him. It took me a long time to accept Him. And the day that I did accept Him, I was sitting in a jail cell, and I remember I just begged Him to forgive me and that I would accept Him and that He would be the Lord of my life. I remember when I first thought about coming to the Perry Center and I seen the room through the tour of the house. I remember having this picture in my head of moving into the room and being able to have this bed that was my own and having a crib to put my baby in and When I moved in, it was so much better than I even thought it would be because I hadn't slept in my own bed in so long. Having somewhere to be comfortable in my own room and feel like I could just breathe in my own skin, it's better than what I ever imagined. I feel like I found a realistic God that understands my pain and is there for me, that takes the sins that I have every day away and makes me feel like I'm whole. I don't need to use drugs in order to feel like a person anymore. I can wake up and I can pray and I can feel like I'm me. And every time I go to church, I don't feel out of place for the first time in my life. I feel like I'm meant to be there. Without the Perry Center, I wouldn't have found my church, I wouldn't have found my faith the way that I have, and I wouldn't know myself the way that I do. I feel safe. God has brought me healing with my family. I can talk to my family like I'm a piece of them again, because for the longest time they just didn't want to talk to me when I was using. But now when I talk to them, I feel like I have a mom, I have a dad, I have my siblings, and they're there for me. If you are considering coming to the Perry Center, do it. If not for yourself, for your kid. The amount of help and resources and things that they can do for you is beyond you. Whether it's a connection to God or helping you find the assistance that you need, making an amends with yourself through counseling, they can help you in so many different areas of your life that maybe you don't even know you need. Now that I'm at the Perry Center, my life has changed, the full 180. I'm very happy. I know how to take care of myself. I've completed forms for assistance, and I've gotten a lot of help and assistance on figuring out how to be an adult, how to do the things that I didn't know how to do before. You guys have assisted me with getting my GED. You guys have influenced me to go to college before I never even thought about college or even starting college, but now it's a real and realistic goal that I can reach. I've reached the different goals for my probation and my drug court, and staying sober and raising my baby is the biggest accomplishment of all. Because for me, sobriety was something that I could never fully grasp before last year. And now I'm doing it. The Perry Center is worth everything and more. If you're thinking about helping the Perry Center, it's worth it. It changes lives, it saves people, and it makes babies ready to live with their mamas and do good in life. I know that at the end of the day, I'm happy to be where I am, and I'm ready to go home. Because of the Perry Center, I'm gonna be a good person, and I'm gonna make it.